Welcome back to the lab. Wednesday afternoon. We damaged the old head gaskets there on the VQ35DETT and Nissan K12 March. Not this. We're working on this. There's actually progress on that. We'll talk about that later. It'll get its own video. So, and I think if you watched the previous video, while we had the engine apart, I thought, I've been giving everything a bit of a hard time. Better take those pistons out, have a look at those and make sure everything's happy there. Pistons were okay, rings were okay, bores are not the best, but they're okay. Good to go again. Piston to bore clearance, bit suspicious, but it'll be fine. No, it won't last forever, but it'll be okay for another season. You should have factory specs of 3.5 thou clearance for a boosted engine, maybe a little bit more if you're going to beat on it and stuff. So maybe 4.5, 5 at a push. We've got about 6. Quite a lot. It's probably beyond spec or beyond limits. It'll be fine. It'll go for a bit. I wouldn't expect it to go 5 seasons or anything like that, but we'll be all right for a little bit. The piston pins, on the other hand, these ones here, they're all bent. They're no good. So, Robbie Ward from Rips over there in Rotorua, he supplied us with some more better ones. So those are quite a lot stronger, thicker wall. Problem is, they're also heavier. Let's turn that puppy on. I forgot to make the beep boop, beep boop, beep boop noise that people like making, or children like making. 100. It's not sure. There we go, 112 grams. Dun, dun, dun. 26 grams heavier, which funnily enough is old mate Phil on the previous video. He worked all that out and said, oh, it's going to be this much heavier. And he's right. And I worked it out myself as well. I was like, he's right. What a clever sausage. But anyway, so that's, seeing as the piston pins are heavier, those are all junk now, paperweights. We had to take some weight out of this somewhere, or we had to rebalance the engine, which would have involved, oh, it's up the wrong way. Poor prep for our video. Look, it's nearly back together. It's going back together. Would have involved drilling holes in these weights this way and putting, I think it's Mallory or something like that they call it, metal that's heavier than the steel to increase the weight. The counterweights, you've got to pay quite a reasonable amount of money to do that. And part of the thing that was going on was perhaps it was too high a compression anyway. So I talked about that. And look, we done Millerized it. We took some off. So before Piston, I guess, and afterwards pissed off, maybe. Anyway, that went into there. Oh, I can show you, right? I'll put this in here. Good camera work today, Glenn. Put that in where the piston pin goes, see? That goes in through there. And then you put this here, in the middle there, and you put your clamps on top of it, and then you balance it out, run the tool across and make sure you've got the piston level, and then you use the old digital readout here, DRO, and then you can work out how much you take some off, right? So I took 1 millimeter off, and then I weighed the piston. Oh, yep, we got 390 grams. So then I took another millimeter off, which is 2 millimeters, 383, and then I took 3 millimeters off, 373. You can see where this is going, right? So I weighed all the pistons to start with. So I knew how much they weighed to start with, and I knew they needed to weigh 300 and whatever it was, less than that. So they've all been 369, I reckoned it was. Do the maths. 369 plus 26 grams should be 395 if I've done it right. Too bad anyway. So, no, I'm just kidding. It needs to be accurate. If it's not accurate and you've got a motor that's whizzing around at 8,000 RPM, things are going to explode. You can overbalance. That's okay. Apparently, if you have these weights a little bit heavier, that is all right, according to stuff and things that I've read on the internet. But if you've got it underbalanced, it's going to go kabang. Kaboom. exploder eyes. So I marked them all so I knew where the front of the piston was. We didn't get that wrong. So what we've achieved here is we've got our balance right. That plus that is the same weight, exactly the same weight as what it used to be with those pins in the original pistons, and we've lowered the compression ratio to something less than 11 to 1. I don't know what it is. It's more than 8.8 to 1. It's less than 11 to 1. I'm guessing it's probably something like 9.5 or 10 to 1. I can do the maths because I know where we're at, how much volume has come out of this. I can figure it all out, but I can't be bothered. Someone else will do it. Right, so we got down to 373. We needed another 4 grams out of that to get to 369. So I have taken 3.4 millimeters off the top of that piston. Basically, the large dome that was on top is gone. So if you're clever, you'll be able to go through it and you'll be able to go, hey, guess what? It was this compression ratio. And I might do it myself and work it out, and then I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. I'm going to put that. It's raining a lot, which is why we're not working on the Blue Z. I'm going to put this on this, on this. We need these things to hold it all together, all this together. And I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to clean everything up, and then we're going to put the heads back on the motor. Yay! If I'm shaky at all, I've just been for a test drive in that horrible blue 300. I shouldn't call it horrible. And that 300ZX that's way over there behind that. Just testing some things out and make sure it's all sorted so we can actually get it tuned. We ran into a few little hiccups which we may or may not talk about. Yeah, it's good. It's scary, properly scary, and I drive that with 500 kilowasps coming out of this, and I'm saying that that thing that's behind that's scary, so yeah, it is. As you can see, cylinder heads are on here, camshafts are in, bearing caps are in. I put the inlet manifold on just because it was easier just to cover up the one plane rather than 2 with studs hanging out of it, so that seals off our inlet ports. Everything's been cleaned. It's not like surgically clean, it need to be. It's not, this isn't a customer's fresh rebuild, this is Glenn's repair, his race car, and I know this has got a very short life expectancy, so it's all good. So we've got our HKS head gaskets in there, things there, and we printed this off, and so we know how to, don't forget how to torque it up, and we've got the torque there. It says you've got to do it in 3 stages, so I think I actually did it in 4, and then I ran around at 85, did a couple of laps just to make sure, and we use our ARP lube. It's probably the older one. Someone will probably say, no, you're supposed to use a different one to that now. Doesn't matter. That's sorted. What we've got to do now is a bit more cleaning on the front here. Get some sealant and some O-rings. Don't forget to put these O-rings in here when you put it together. Bad things, wow, you might get away with it, but bad things could happen. There's one down here as well, and there's one there, etc. That's actually main oil gallery, that one there. It's a big gallery. We need to make sure that's all nice and clean in there. Of course, we checked that before we started putting it together, but it doesn't hurt to check along the way as you go. Going to put these front covers on, set up the chains and all that sort of carry on. Once it's all done, we can clean these up. We can get these back on. We can flip the engine upside down. We can get the sump on, which I have modified. Not sure where the sump is. Oh, there it is. It's hiding under there. I'll show you what I've done with that. Keep on keeping on. Did work out the compression. I think did I say earlier in this video? I probably did. You can have a guess at it. So I have worked it out. It's 10.088 to 1. So it's almost dead on. In fact, we might as well call it 10 to 1 because the accuracy of the calculation is, depends on the volume left in the top of the pistons, which I kind of just guessed at, and it may or may not be exactly right. But we're 10 to 1, thereabouts, instead of 11 to 1. So that should help with things. I think I've been saying that we had heat range of 6 spark plugs. Well, that was my bad. They are NGK. Where is it? Making this look difficult. There you go. There's Can we even see it? There you go. That's what I had in there. So they are 7s. They do not look like, focus, come back, focus, we've lost it. There. They do not look like they've been stinking hot and causing pre-ignition, but they may have been. So anyway, we've got some 9s coming to put in there. So that should rule that out. If we still have a problem, then it's not that. Okay. Keep going, assembling. We've run out of Thursday. It's about that. Assembled long block. Essentially, that's, yeah, I think the spark plugs have just turned up according to an email that I've had, but I haven't seen them. But anyway, the coils are just sitting there so that no rubbish falls down into the bores. But apart from that, we've got from the sump up to the intake manifold, not the plenum. But a couple of little things I want to do with the plenum, and then we can put the throttle and all that back on there. All the turbos and everything are all just thrown on the floor down here, so we'll put all those back in. We'll see what happens tomorrow. That might be going back in the car tomorrow. There is some roll racing on Saturday. I don't like our chances. I could if I really, really had to, but let's be a bit more careful than that. We are fast running out of Friday. It's 3 o'clock or thereabouts, and I've got the dreaded man flu. It's just cold, right? Anyone else would just have a sniffle, but if you're a bloke, yeah, you end up quite unwell. So I successfully mounted a turbo on the wrong side of the motor, which is why you shouldn't work on things when you're not well, right? So accidentally put the, which way around does the car go? This is the left-hand side, right? Because this is the front of the motor. So I put that turbo over here and I was like, yeah, that's good. Good progress, Glenn. Yeah, yeah. Prepped the other side, picked up this turbo and offered it up to the engine and went, hang on a minute. Yeah. So I had to fix that. And there's been some other stuff and things of a non-work related thing that's taken priority, a bit of an emergency. So I'm tools down. I'm not even going to clean up the mess. Oh, I've hit my head. Oh, hit my head on that. See, you should lift that up higher. That's not from my head, by the way. I'd probably, yeah, anyway. So, tools down for today. Mess. Don't worry about that. I'll find, one of these covers is clean. I'll go on top of here. Deal with other things with higher priorities. Now, there's a bit of mess on the floor over there. And you can see the teen suspension on the ground there, and you can see the jacket. You can actually see the license plate, but never mind, that's all good. We won't worry about that too much. Test fitted the front shocks. That's going to work out, needs some adjusting. It'll be time consuming to do it on the floor with axle stands and all that sort of carry on. So the plan was to proceed further with this. It's actually not that far away from being a running vehicle. Again, it's probably, I'm going to say 6 hours work, and it'll probably take 12, but it's not that far away. So I was going to put us back in just enough that it runs, right? And then we can get it out of the way, we can put that on the hoist, and we can deal with the suspension. Now, there's something that happened with this that I can talk about a little bit. So we did start on the tuning process, and we had a little I told you I was sick. It's yummy. We had a little bit of an issue with the triggers, and it's just a fussiness thing that you'd get with the G4X because they're so much faster and they think so much better. So they pick problems where the G4, which is what was in it, I don't think it was a G4 Plus, I think it was a G4, just doesn't care, and it just carries on happy as Larry. If Larry's a happy person, that's better. Let's do that. So there was some fine tuning to deal with there, which we have sorted out. And then we ran into another problem. And that was that for some reason, the coil packs have pretty much given up. So the guys that rebuilt the engine, can we call it, we shouldn't call it a rebuild. That's an insult to anyone else who rebuilds an engine. The guys that destroyed the engine did have a coil pack replaced when they were tuning the car
I'm wondering whether there was some shenanigans going on with increasing the dwell to a ridiculous amount to try and compensate for the mechanical issues that they had with the engine, with valve timing and stuff, and they've damaged the coils perhaps, and they replaced one and got away with it, and then once we've got it up and running, then we tried to tune it, and nah. Hell no. So, or it could be just slagging someone off unnecessarily, and the coils just got old and they started to give up. And they should be all about the same age, so they all just failed, or started to fail. Regardless, we put some aftermarket performance coils in there, which are basically brandless, because they were the cheaper option, just to see where we were at and make sure it actually fixed the problem. And she's good. So it's been road tested. It has not been dyno tested. I need to get rid of man flu, because you can't go anywhere with man flu these days. And then we can tune it, and we can carry on, and we can go, yay, it made something horsepower and then broke because it's a 300ZX and we got another thing to fix. That's what they do. So, but at the moment, with the amount of tuning that was done, and it was sufficient to get it up on the road at wastegate pressure and take it up to 5,000-6,000 RPM and just make sure that the mists had cleared. We had it cutting out at like 4,000 RPM. So it's way past that, and it's not playing up. Touch, there's no wood. That's real wood. Touch wood. Okay. So I've got other things to deal with that are not video orientated. I'll post this up so you guys can have an update. Friday videos do terribly, but I don't care. That's fine. You can watch it. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Let's pump this channel up. We had 30,000 hours of watch time pop up the other day, according to YouTube. You guys have watched this ugly mug and some in-car footage and stuff for 30,000 hours. That's pretty cool. Not bad for a guy in his garage at home. I'm happy with that. It's not millions and billions of hours like some of the other channels, but hey, appreciate it all the same. Okay, hopefully next video, not sure when it'll be, but next video should be the March, should be up and running again, and we'll see if I've introduced any problems. Probably. I expect that to be a problem child as well, and then we should put a V8 in it. Cheers, bye.